Anchoring down into the earth, and take a moment to see and to focus on becoming fully present in your breath. As we practice together tonight, a sequence to remind us to reach out to those that are part of our circles or our family, our friends, matching our movements to our breath, becoming fully present in the inhale and the exhale. Beginning to let your day melt away. Drawing some kind attention within. A few more flowing seated mountains. On our next one, we'll begin some lateral flexion, bringing our left hand down to the mat and our right arm up. If you want to, you can work towards bringing your elbow right down to the mat for that, but you don't have to. It's okay if it doesn't quite get there. Back up to the other side, either right down to your elbow or not. So still trying to anchor through our sit bones. If you feel like the back, one side of your backside is lifting up, don't worry about going down too far towards that mat. Take this opportunity to breathe, to converse with your body tonight, just exactly where it is in this present moment. Check in with your whole self, see how you're doing. I hope you're doing okay. One or two more of our lateral flexion, and we'll start a few twists. Let's bring our left hand over across to our right knee, gaze over our back shoulder. And switching over to the other side. We can bring our hand over to the outside or hold on to our knee if that feels better. Side to side. If you'd like to add a little breath in at the top and then your twist, you can. Reminder to use props if that feels good for you tonight. Some blocks. All my blocks are at the studio, otherwise I'd have one here. One more of our flowing twists, and then we'll put our warm up together. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, tip over to one side, only going as far down as you want to. Over to the other side. Making a twist. All the way to the other side. We'll bring our hands back behind us. Inhale, open up across the chest and drop our hearts towards the mat. Holding here. Hopefully my internet is okay at home for you tonight. If it does happen to cut out, don't worry, I'll be back. Just hold that pose, hold your breath. Well, no, don't hold your breath. All right, we'll bring our hands to our knees. Lift up on an inhale. Let's turn our chest towards one knee. Reach the heart forward, bring it around, start to warm up the lower back. Exhale as we come down, and inhale as we start to go up. Closing your eyes, using your yoga practice to build a foundation of acceptance and love, affirming your love for your body by meeting it right where it is tonight. One more going in this direction, and we'll turn and go the other way, lengthening the spine, reaching the heart, and then coming up. Great job. Well, I can't see you, but I'm sure if I could see you, I'd know you're doing a great job. Wonderful. On this next one, we'll come all the way up, reach our arms up to the sky, an extended seated mountain, and hinge forward, reaching out for whatever kind of support you might need today. Engage the core, draw that belly button in towards your spine. If you're taking care of your back, we'll draw our hands to our heart. Amazing. We'll be making our way all the way to all fours. Take your time. We'll start in our regular cat and cow, and then we'll add on a few different things, variations. So take a moment to reposition. We've got our wrists underneath our elbows and the creases of our elbows, so those front parts are slightly forward, just like in downward dog. We'll exhale, move into cat pose. Inhale, open up into cow. Matching our movement to our breath. If we're taking care of our wrists, we can have our forearms on blocks. Or be doing our cat and cow on a chair tonight. Or standing. One more, and we'll be holding a pose to represent reaching out. We'll bring our right foot out to the side. Oh, that is slippery. Our right foot out to the side. Wonderful. And your right on your opposite arm out to the side. So see how that feels here as we hold. Lengthening through the spine. Just a variation of our tabletop as we check in with how it feels. Actively reaching and bringing it back down. Switching to the other side, reaching one arm out, palm faces the mat, and the opposite foot on the floor. Breathe. Great job. We're gazing down at the mat. Amazing job. We'll come back to all fours to continue on with our regular warm-up. We can take it back to child's pose now as an option, or move right up into downward facing dog. Take your time to reach with the hips up towards the sky. We'll start by pedaling the feet. Find strength in our arms. Our option here would be on our chair in a downward facing dog, or you could be at the wall doing a downward facing dog, or in child's pose. Amazing. Oh, this feels good. I needed this today, everybody. One more. And we'll inhale into a full or a kneeling plank. Breathe. Holding here, find the breath. Draw the belly button up towards the spine. Check in with some tension between the shoulder blades and hinge it back to downward dog, either on the wall or child's pose. So that option on the wall, you've got your downward dog, and then you go forward into a plank at the wall. Coming back down to all fours, we'll move through our spinal balance. A little different today, though, as we reach our arm out to one side and the foot out to one side. So we'll reach it out and then bring it back. Other side, we're reaching it out and back in. See how that feels. If it doesn't feel good, you can go back to our regular spinal balance, opposite arm and foot. And connect to your breath. One more. Downward facing dog or child's pose. Take your time. Let's move through our half series, inhaling into a full or a kneeling plank. We'll exhale, go halfway down or all the way down to our bellies. Open up into a cobra, strengthen the back, or an up dog down to your bellies, pressing the earth away and finding either child's pose or downward facing dog. And we'll flow together again. Breathing in as we come into a plank of our choice. Breathing out, chaturanga or belly, cobra or belly. Flowing through, all on your own. Take your time to match your movement to your breath. If it feels better to do this in a chair or at the wall, you can. It'll take some pressure off of our arms. A couple more. I'm not sure what that music is. I think my daughter's phone connected or something. One more. Let's make our way right back to tabletop again. Nice, strong tabletop. See how that feels. If it feels a little too intense for the wrists, let's go to fists for wrists. Holding here and breathing. Wonderful. Moving into a full or kneeling plank as we move on to one more to show us how to reach out. So a full plank or that kneeling plank, you'll lift one foot up and reach one arm out to the side, either tapping it on the mat or lifting it up. So see how that checks in, or either you're on your kneeling plank, one knee lifted, one arm out. Sorry, opposite arm. That's why that didn't feel right. And then we'll switch sides, either a full plank or kneeling plank. So one arm, normally we're reaching forward, but we're trying to reach out to the side today and then lifting the opposite foot. Downward facing dog. We'll be looking up at our hands and bringing the left foot up between our hands. Take your time. We can drop our knee down for kneeling lunge or come up into our full lunge. Inhale. And adding on a twist to our practice today, bringing our left hand to the knee and the other hand just to our back, sink into it, add your twist. Or you can have a high twist, arms long. All the way back to downward dog or all fours on your breath out. And the opposite foot will come forward. We'll rise up into our lunge and either do our high twist with our arms up or our hand, one on our lower back, one on our knee. Wonderful. Breathe. Become present in your breath again. Try not to let that mind wander away from your practice. We'll be making our way to forward fold. Take your time, exhaling into your forward fold. Let the head be heavy. Let it just dangle here for a second, guys. We can shake our head. Gently no to any competition. Nod our head yes to listening to our bodies tonight. Moving through our halfway lift, either supported with our hands back behind our knees or our hands coming to our shins as you flow through, or you could keep your fingertips in connection with the mat as you work towards flattening out your back, and we'll flow a few more times. Halfway lift. And fold. You can have a big bend in your knees if that feels better. Hoping we can be back in studio maybe next Wednesday. That'll be nice. I'll try to keep you posted or keep me posted. Last one. Let's inhale to chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Flow through, inhaling chair, lifting the heart, engaging the core, exhaling, folding. A few more of those as we warm up the lower back, warm up our knees. Amazing. A few more. On our next one, inhale, sweeping all the way up. I'm just going to adjust the angle as I go up. Go, kind of good to see my roof now, but that's okay. We're up here for a bit. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, coming about halfway down into our airplane. Let's flow through the airplane, warm up the lower back, warm up our hamstrings. Reaching up and then reaching back, palms face the earth. Picture those wrists lengthening, the neck lengthening. Wonderful. On our next one, meeting all the way up into extended mountain, reaching both of our arms up and then coming onto our toes on an inhale. Exhale, bringing it back down, hands will come down. Inhale, sweeping up. Waking up our calves now. Matching your breath. One more. On our next one, our hands will stay up, our heels will go down. We'll take a hold of one wrist and tip over to one side. If that doesn't feel nice, you can grab your elbow. If you want to take some pressure off of your arm. Closing your eyes if that's okay for you tonight. And then all the way over to the other side. A little stretch, soften the knees. Wonderful. We're going to do a bear flow before we go into our moonflowers and sunflowers. One of my favorite flows. If you've been in my medicine wheel practice, we do this one quite a bit. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Now we bend our right knee, right hand to the mat, reach our left arm up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, both legs straighten. We bend our opposite knee and bring the other arm up. Right into bear pose. So that brings our belly to our thighs and we reach our arms long. Bear pose. We'll hold here for 3 breaths at first. Forward fold, breathe out. Sweep up, breathe in. Wonderful. Exhale back to our mountain pose. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale back to our mountain. All right, one more time. Inhale, exhale, fold. Bending our right knee, right hand to the mat, reach your other arm up. Breathe in, breathe out, fold. Bend the other knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, right into bear pose. Hold here for a few breaths. You don't have to have a big bend in your knees. You could have a medium bend. Forward fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale to mountain. Amazing job. And again, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Bend the right knee, lift the left hand. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Opposite knee bends. Reach up, inhale. Exhale to bear pose. Hold here for a breath or two. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, mountain. One more bear flow, really awakening the legs. We rise up and we dive into fold. Bending the right knee, sweeping the left arm up, back down, other side. Bear pose. Breathe. This doesn't feel nice for your arms, so you could have them on your thighs. Forward fold. Sweeping up, breathe in. And breathe out. Let's bring our hands back behind us, opening up into some chest expansion, or you could be holding onto your elbows or reverse prayer, and then forward fold. Let the head hang. If this doesn't feel nice for you, you could stay up. If you tend to get dizzy easy, you'll stay up nice and tall with me. Amazing. All right, let's step our right foot back. We'll turn our toes nice and long. Whoa, it's slippery. So we can make our way into our moonflowers. Big breath up, inhale. Exhale, bend our elbows, bend our knees. Hopefully we don't have a funny moment tonight as I slip on this hockey floor. A few more. He actually sprays stuff on it to make it slipperier. 1 or 2 more. You know, you can always get a little deeper, bringing those elbows down to your thighs. Our toes are slightly out. And when you're ready, we can turn that into our sunflower. We still bend our knees, hinge down. Inhale up, exhale, hinge. Create that circle. Feel the connection to the element of air as it touches your skin, as your arms move through. Have a moment of gratitude for the opportunity to breathe, to be moving, to be present here. One more sunflower flow. We'll hold it down in a goddess pose. We'll bring our hands to our thighs and create a little bit of pressure there, lengthening up through our necks. Breathe, feel, listen. Check in with our pelvic floor, the length of our spine as our shoulders come down from our ears. Breathe. We'll straightening out our legs, turning our toes towards the long edge and hinging down into a forward fold with a wide leg. Breathe. Could always have a chair or something underneath your upper body if it doesn't feel good here. We'll walk our left hand over to our right calf. Bring your other hand back onto your back. All the way over. Opposite hand to the outside of that leg, or wherever it wants to rest tonight. And then we'll release that head. Unwind, we'll tick-tock our feet together to make our way, to point our toes back up to the top of our mats. Big breath up, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, holding onto our chair pose now. Breathe. Checking in with the shoulders. Maybe we want to lengthen our arms tonight, or bring our hands back behind us, lengthening, opening up the chest, engaging the core. Connection, rooting down like a tree into the earth, and feel the energy of Mother Earth coming back up into your body. Amazing. All right, let's release. We'll straighten out those legs. It is time to move on to our sun salutations. So I invite you to, when we step back, if you don't want to step back into that plank, please just hold your lunge or do another version, or you'll be stepping back. So I'm going to adjust the angle again. Sorry about that, guys. Not at the studio. I'll be there next week. There we go. We'll come up to the tops of our mats and start to move through our sun salutations. Big breath up on an inhale. Exhale, dive into your fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Bending our knees, be stepping our right foot back. You can hold your lunge here in a runner's lunge or rise up. Inhale. Exhale to downward dog or hold your lunge. Maybe it's child's pose. You can stay here or flow. Inhale forward. Exhale halfway or all the way down. Up dog or cobra. Do what feels right. Back to the belly. And then downward facing dog, or you're still in your lunge, strengthening your legs. Left foot coming up between the hands. Take your time. Rise to your lunge on an in-breath. On your exhale, forward folding. Space between our feet as we inhale into our halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale to your chair. Inhale, back up. Exhale to our mountain. And let's flow again. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, dive. Great job. Halfway lift, inhale, feel those shoulders lengthen from the ears. Fold again. Bend our knees, left foot back. Knee up or down, find your lunge. Now we can stay here in this lunge or move to downward dog. This is where you can hold or flow. I hope you got some tunes on at home. I hope you're rocking out, doing your sun salutations. Make your way to downward facing dog. Looking up between the hands, this time that right foot lunging up. Rise to your lunge, back quadricep nice and strong. Inhale, exhale, fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep to sky. Whilst you root into your feet. Exhale, chair. Back up, breathe in. Exhale to mountain. We've got 4 more. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, dive. Halfway lift, breathe in. Now from here, you can step right, jump right back to plank or chaturanga if you want to do sun salutations B, or you'll hold your plank or lunge. Flow, up dog or cobra to the belly and back to down dog. Then we'll hop, step, or jump up to halfway lift. Breathe in, fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, chair. Back up, breathe in. Exhale, find that nice, strong, stable mountain. And we'll do it again. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, dive. Halfway lift, breathe in. Option to step right back to plank or chaturanga or lunge. Flow through your half series. Take your time. Honor your body. Remember, you can stay in your downward dog or lunge or hop, step, or jump. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale to chair. Back up, breathe in. Exhale to mountains. We've got 1 more, guys. Flow at your own pace or stay with me. Fold, halfway lift, right back to plank or chaturanga, or hold your lunge, up dog or cobra, downward dog, hop, step, or jump, halfway lift, fold, sweep to sky, chair. Great job. All the way back up. And you'll meet in your mountain pose. Amazing. So adjust your clothes, grab a drink if you'd like to, and we'll move on. Bringing our, pardon me, right foot up to the top of our mat. Take that right foot up. Whoops, we'll step our back, slippery, step that back foot down, and we'll drop it down into warrior 2, bending our front knee, pressing into our back foot. Relax the shoulders and breathe. So we're gazing down our front hand. Just see how the pelvis is feeling tonight. Notice how the spine starts to lift out of the pelvis and we lengthen. And only if it feels nice for our neck do we gaze down that front hand. Breathe. Amazing. We're going to do a little different triangle tonight with a little reach out, straightening out our front leg, turning our front palm up, back palm down, reaching long into our triangle. Reaching, right? Reminding us to reach out today. If you want to adjust your back foot, you can. You can turn that more towards the front edge of your mat. Work for the shoulders. Feel the core. And again, our mantra tonight, can we become fully present in our body, in our breath? Let's bend our leg again, this time reaching that palm that's already up into reverse warrior, sinking down and through the support of our legs. If you want to wrap your back hand around for your front thigh, you can. Gazing up. Breathe, feel, listen. Listen to the sounds outside of your body, and then try to bring your awareness to the sounds within, to your breath. We'll be moving into a balancing half moon with a tip forward. Bringing the weight onto the front foot. We'll still open. I've got this handy dandy chin up bar there. So our normal balancing half moon is here. Today we're bringing our hands down to the mat and that leg's going up on a slight angle. Breathe. So it's almost, well, it's different. You know, it's a little more stable because we do have 2 points of contact on the mat, but it's different. Moving right into warrior three, that top hip now, instead of being open, is going to turn towards the floor. Our warrior three with a little bit of a tip, or you can come up, whoops, bringing our hands to our heart. This is what happens when I don't teach as many classes as I usually do. All right, forward fold, breathe out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out, hop, step, or jump back to your plank pose or hold your lunge, staying here or flowing through one of your chaturangas with your half series. All the way or halfway, up dog or cobra, back to your belly, meeting back in downward facing dog. Let's wag our tail a couple times here in our downward dog. Wake up the hips before we do that sequence on the other side. And gazing up between the hands, this time the left foot will come up between the hand, or whatever foot you didn't do, we'll drop that back heel down and rise up into your warrior two. So we'll check in with that front knee, make sure it's not in front of our toe. And we're opening up our pelvis. Ooh, it's slippery. Gazing down our front hand. Check in with our jaw, our eyes. Notice an entire in-breath as it enters your nostrils, flows down and fills up your lungs, and then comes back up and out. Wonderful. Our extended triangle today, straightening out our front leg, turning our front palm up and reaching forward, looking down our front hand. Breathe. Holding here. A few more breaths. Till we can make our way into our reverse warrior, bending that front knee and now reaching that arm up, sinking down into the support of our legs, making modifications if we need to for our bodies. Actively reaching up for the sun whilst both of our feet are pressing down into Mother Earth. From our reverse warrior, moving into our balancing half moon with our tip forward today. So I'm adjusting this because it is very slippery underneath this. We'll hinge down. Our hip is open to begin with, and our regular balancing half moon is here. And if you wanted to, we're bringing our hand down to the mat today. And if you want your arm to be up, you can, or you could even work towards reaching it long. Breathe, strengthening our front ankle, feeling grounded. Notice where you're connecting to the mat. And then turning this into warrior three. So that hip turns towards the mat. We can have our little hinge forward or engage the core and lift up into warrior three with hands at our heart, or reach them long, or just touch them on a wall or on a couch nearby. Forward fold, breathe out. Great job. Halfway lift, we breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Building a foundation tonight. Let's step back into full or kneeling plank to bring our right knee to our right elbow on or off the floor, or back knees down. We're just touching it towards that. On other side, plank, knee to elbow or knee down. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Let the head be heavy. We're hanging out in downward dog tonight, or all fours, or downward dog at the wall. For some, downward dog is restful, and for some, it's not so restful. So adjust as you need to tonight. Great job. We'll place our right hand on our back. See how that feels, what kind of adjustments the body makes. So if you're at your wall, you'd be in your downward dog here with one hand on your back. Switch sides, bring the other hand and rest it on your lower back. We press the earth away. We still have a little bend in our knees. So quiet without all of you guys. We'll bring our hands back to the floor, all the way to all fours, and exhale to child's pose. We've got a couple more poses up top, but we're just going to take a little rest here in child's pose, an opportunity to regroup if you wanted to grab a drink. You could, or you could give your wrists a little bit of love, one way and then the other. Resting or flowing or working on those wrists. All right, everybody, we'll come back to all fours on an inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Hop, step, or jump up between the hands. Halfway lift, we'll breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Sweep all the way up, inhale. Amazing job. And we'll adjust the angle again. We're going into pigeon pose for our backs. We flexing let's flex that right foot. Lucky me, I've got this great walls beside me. Bring it up and we'll sink down into our pigeon pose. Bending our supporting leg, keeping our heart lifted. We can press our palms together and draw our shoulder blades together at the back to engage more of the upper body. Breathe. A little hint of what's to come. You can bring your right elbow across, oops, because I'm mirrored in my video, your opposite elbow across to your knee. Be doing some of these figure 4 sit-ups at the end of practice. Come back up and switch to the other side. Flex the foot, bring it up into your pigeon pose, sit it back. And a nice big stretch back there. Relax the shoulders. Trying to think of what other kind of news I might have to share with you all. I reached out to one instructor who did actually get back to me, and she offers something called spa yoga. So that could be something fun that we're going to get at the studio soon. Let's bring our elbow across to the other knee. See how that feels for you. And then all the way back up. We'll place the foot on the mat. Take a big breath up, inhale. And exhale, dive into your folds. We're going to make our way down onto the mat. Take your time, all fours first. Just going to adjust our angle again. Good job. Remember, my floor is not dirty. This is the hockey shooting pad. Okay, easy seated position, or you could have your legs out in a little bit of a straighter spot. Now let's see how that spine's feeling now that we've warmed up a little bit more by bringing our right hand down towards the mat and reaching our other arm up, and just see if we have maybe a little more depth. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. There's no judgment. You could reach long with this arm if you want to. Breathe. Beautiful. Let's lift it up. Now that hand that's up top, bring it across to the opposite knee. Then this arm will reach up and we'll tip over to the other side before we do that. Same thing. Actively reach up into this beautiful ray of sunshine up there. Come up nice and tall. We'll bring the opposite elbow down to the mat. Maybe put a block underneath your elbow here too. Bring it down as far as we can and reach that other arm either up or long. Feel the stretch without judgment, just a gentle noticing. Oh, that feels so good for your posture. Feel that wonderful stretch as your side body just opening up. Bring it up. That hand will go across to the knee. We'll reach this arm up and tip over to the other side. So you're holding on and bringing this other elbow closer towards your knee. Wonderful. I might do a surprise class tomorrow. It might be a quick lunch class when I go into town, but I'll post it on YouTube. Maybe arm balance or something fun. Wonderful. Bring it up. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Draw them in a little bit closer to our backside and then hinge forward tonight. Always maintaining a long spine. Modifying as we need to. You could find a little more space from your heels down. Bum, bum, bum. I mentioned I miss you guys. I do. Maybe next week, like I said. Awesome sauce. Let's bring it on up. We'll be rolling right back onto our backs for that figure four, like I showed you how we did it standing earlier in our pigeon. So it's the same thing, only we're on our backs. We'll bring one foot across. Breathe. Let's bring our fingertips up to our temples and then lift our shoulder blades up off the mat. And we'll try to bring our opposite elbow, or you could have your hands right behind your head too. Bring your opposite elbow over to that knee. And we're just going to do a few crunches like that. So we've got our figure four with some crunches. If you're into crunches, if you like that sort of thing. If you don't, just hold your figure four or do something else that's fun. Let's work towards 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. What we do on one side, we must do on the other, but let's give it a little stretch first by placing the soles of the feet into the mat and lifting up into a bridge pose. So we're keeping the weight out of our head, stretching our bellies, our cores. We strengthen our backside, our glutes, and try to release. So when we want to strengthen these glutes, we could squeeze till the cows come home, or you can try to let go of some of that tension and just see if you can just release the glutes just a little bit, see the difference. Bring it down, and the other foot will now flex, bring it across. You could stay with the foot on the mat or lift up into your figure four, and we're doing some figure four crunches. It's fun to switch it up a little bit. Make sure you're breathing. You could probably hear me holding my breath sometimes. That's okay. Let's do 4 more. Working towards bringing the both shoulder blades up and then elbow across to that knee. Last one. Moving back into our bridge pose. If you'd like to go up into wheel, you can, or you can clasp your hands underneath you now, draw the shoulder blades a little closer together. Breathe. We're making sure that our knees are still squeezing towards each other. They're not touching. There's still hip distance between them, like about 2/5. But we wouldn't want them to be going out to the sides like so. Feel your heart opening, make some room in it. Soften that area. Amazing. We'll release the hands, release those, slowly lower the back down onto the mat. We'll bring our knees into our chest. Take a little rock side to side. Wonderful. One more twist before we move into our Shavasana. You'll extend one leg, draw the one knee across. You might even want to put this front foot into the mat so that you can lift onto the side of your hip for your spinal twist. And then we open up the shoulder blades back towards the mat and shine our heart up towards the sun. Burr, it's cold down here. I hope you guys are nice and warm. I'd love for you to hold that pose there for about 5 more big breaths. See if you can actually stay present in those 5 breaths. Just let go of the sound of my voice and focus solely on the sound of your breath. We're switching sides. So bring it back. So the low back goes back down onto the mat. Then your opposite foot will go long. Bring it in. You might want to lift so that you can bring your hip right down onto the mat and then come back with the shoulder blades onto the earth. Seeing if you can get in touch with 10 breaths there before we move on to our Shavasana. I'll just catch my breath before me too. You should have about 5 more juicy breaths tonight. Wonderful. Take your time. And then when you're ready, you'll settle into your Shavasana, either lying flat on your back tonight, or I just realized those hockey pucks are right in, lying flat on your back. Or you could be in constructive rest where you've got your knees bent. And those knees are going towards each other. Wonderful. Okay, so into our Shavasana pose, take your time. If you're not ready into Shavasana, you can zoom out now. And we'll place one hand on our heart tonight. Right on your heart center. Maybe you can even feel the beating of your own heart there. Take a moment tonight, my friends, to remind yourself of the wisdom of your heart. Our hearts pump blood to themselves first before they pump blood to the rest of the body. The heart loves and cares for itself so it can love and care for the rest of the body. And if we can just follow a little bit of that wisdom of our hearts, we'll take care of ourselves, take care of our hearts, and love ourselves so that we are able to fully love others with all of our hearts. You can stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like to tonight. Keep on bringing your mind back to your breath, asking yourself, can I just focus on this one breath? I hope that you enjoyed your practice tonight. I hope that you stay as long as you can in your Shavasana as I slide over here. And I will see you guys either virtually or maybe in person next week. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, my